Welcome to the shot. Listen, I have no idea what I'm doing. Absolutely no clue. So we're going to see what happens. I got Eric Bowden here with me. Eric, thank you for coming. Appreciate you.
You want to hear a fun fact?
Fun fact. Drop it.
It's actually Bowden.
I got Eric Bowden here with me.
But the thing is, I don't get mad because it depends on where you live.
It's Baltimore.
Yeah.
Bowden.
Yeah.
But this how it's all right.
Baltimore.
It's Eric Bowden though. All right. I don't want your dad getting mad at me. I don't like.
No, it's
I don't
totally.
like
It's literally. It's ridiculous at this point. Like literally, like I'll go through and like
Just a
people
ton
say,
of people have been
Bowden,
like-
Bowden, 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 Bowden.
I have no. I didn't know.
Like whatever you want to do.
Whatever.
Whatever.
It's Bowden. It's Bowden. We'll stick to Bowden. All right. So Eric Bowden. Age? Where'd you go to school? High school? All that good stuff.
26. Went to Calvert Hall College High School in Towson, Maryland, and then I went to Goucher College in Towson, Maryland. Went up the street.
Yeah, right up the street.
Right up the street.
Right up the street.
Just throw a rock.
Did you have fun at Calvert Hall?
A great time. Best. I mean, I said again for high school. I mean, it was definitely the right choice for me. I mean, especially on my first visit. I mean, going from public to private, I had no clue like what I was gonna do, and no clue what school was gonna be right for me. But after that first shadow day, I was like,
all right, I gotta go.
I gotta go here.
What public school did you go to?
I went to Pine Grove Middle Elementary.
Okay, so
I
you
mean,
went from-
middle and elementary.
You went from 8th right into 9th.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's it's definitely a jump when you see kids when they go from 8th grade and you're like looking at kids on the football field at JV and you're like, yeah, you're not used to this private school. I'm not. I'm a public school kid.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was legit walking in for the first time on my shadow day, and I looked down. I mean, again, the main building is a 2 hallway.
Yeah.
And I looked down one, and I'm like, it's all guys. And then I go down the next one. I'm like, oh God, it's all guys again. I walk back out. My dad's still in the parking lot, and he's still on his phone. And I'm like, I'm not going here. Like, it's all high school. Like, and he literally goes, you better get your butt back.
Your dad was like, I love to know where your brain's at.
Exactly. He goes, I really don't.
It's like, I'm paying for this education. You're worried about females.
Exactly.
They have mixers, Eric. It's okay.
Exactly. Well, cool. Don't get me started. PTSD flashback.
So, you started filming what sport? Or like, what was your go-to?
I would say my first sport is definitely going to be lacrosse. My senior year of college, I graduated, and my voluntary assistant coach worked in the warehouse at East Coast Eyes, which is one of the top lacrosse brands, especially as far as products on the field. And so I was working in the warehouse, and then at the same time I was filming. So majority of the time, like working for a lacrosse company. I was filming like that summer and that fall was just like tons and tons of lacrosse.
Gotcha. So you just been stuck on it, like that's your sport.
I would say that
You make some banging videos. Like it doesn't really matter what sport.
I would say for me that lacrosse is the easiest sport for me to film because of how high level I played it, and then that way I understand, like I can physically see what's gonna happen next.
Gotcha. So you can you actually can vision the play and everything and how it starts.
Exactly.
Me, I sit on my box and I'm like, I got no clue what is happening.
Exactly.
I just see a bunch of dudes sticking each other, like hitting each other with sticks, and I'm like, this is wild.
Exactly.
6-year-old just got
So
his
yeah,
head smashed.
I would definitely say that would be. I mean, that's my strength of sport.
Yeah.
It's just like flow wise. I mean, again, it's like natural. A lot of people ask like, how did you get this shot, or how did you do this? And it's like, I don't know. Naturally, I just felt like he was gonna shoot it then, or naturally he was gonna pass it here. And so it's just basically based off the flow of the game. And
I felt like lacrosse, like football, like it's you're driving down the field, you know which way the ball's going to go. Lacrosse is one of the things where like there's a pretty good percent, not pretty good, but there's a good percentage of like right place, right time.
right,
But
exactly.
then at the same time, you're like, no, like I got like I sit at the 50 the whole time.
Right,
But then I see you running up and down the field. I'm like, ball's not going anywhere different.
right.
But in your brain, you're like, no. Something's going to happen. Like,
Exactly,
somebody's gonna
exactly.
get the ball.
Especially in a man advantage situation where you're up a man and there's a penalty or something like that, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna move just a little bit closer to the offensive side, just so like I'm at this angle. Or you look at, I mean, again, a lot of people don't realize like you look at the team that you're covering. I mean, whether if they're dominantly left-handed, dominantly right-handed, are they more midfielder heavy or more attack heavy? You see how they workflow, and then at that point, like, but then again, that's for someone like me, myself, who's played. Some people, like, again, like who are multi-sport photographers and videographers, just go in and basically like play it safe, which again I did this past weekend, is just set up at the 50 and then just pan.
And just wait. Yeah, that's the tough part for me because I like educating myself in lacrosse. I'm like, Just show up. Just sit on the 50.
Yeah, exactly.
Just sit there.
Just sit there. I mean,
Baseball and football, I'm like, all right, I know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Baseball is probably one of the toughest things I've filmed. That to me, I'm like,
you have to have pure patience.
yeah. And you're sitting there for 2 hours, and you're just like, yeah, just there's some kid can go off and throw 10 strikeouts. And you're like, all right, I got nothing. I got the umpire screaming strike.
Exactly.
That's all I got.
Like that's it.
That's all I got. That shot I got of Lamar hitting that home run.
That was probably the only highlight ever.
That's it. I was like, I'm not going to another baseball game.
I don't think you'll get one this year. I think that was like that's what I'm saying. That was your shot for the century.
Like I'm not doing nothing else.
Yeah,
I made it on 5-star. I made it on IG. I'm like, all right, we're good.
I've told my boss like 2 things right now that is bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Baseball, soccer.
Dude, soccer, that playoff game or the championship game.
Yeah,
I had a horrible view of everything.
Horrible view, but you got the 2 goals that technically was my job to get.
I just sat down like, all right, something's got to happen here. You know, like there's no way Calvert Hall loses to John Carroll.
Exactly.
No offense, but like something has to happen.
It was
know?
that was a crazy game, but the fact that literally my entire job was to capture the highlights and.
Yeah, but you're also running around. You got to halftime. You bolted up to the top.
I know, but which is
Eric will be back with 5 minutes.
But again, like no matter what, like going back into it, this is the reason why like I had you there and you and Jack, because I was like, look, like if I don't get it, these 2 will get it.
You should have seen Jack's face when you handed him the gimbal. I was like, Jack, you good? And he's like, yeah. I was like, you got it, bro. Don't
you
worry.
got
just
it. Don't
walk
worry.
around with it.
Just
You'll
what?
be fine.
Just yeah. It's not.
I'm sure he killed it. I didn't see any of the footage, but like,
it was.
Just Jack just walked.
It was like handing him like a new toy.
It's a newborn.
Christmas
It's a baby.
Yeah, it's a newborn.
Like, just one job. Don't drop it.
Don't drop.
Make sure your video is recording and just don't drop it. I've dropped like 3 gimbals and I'm like, well, this is broken now. Like you're not getting this one back.
Well, that means that not too many people holding you babies. Then if you drop it,
just mine. I've held 2 babies in my life, my cousin and my son. I didn't drop either one of them, but I was like, I think I'd be more upset over the gift. Now I'm just playing.
I'm just playing.
I couldn't. I don't even pick the gimbal up anymore. For me, I did it during Gilman, but I was just like, it was fun, but I didn't really get anything useful. A couple shots. Like, this thing's useless now. Keep giving me in-body stabilization. It's over. Gear. So we're already on gear. What's your gear list? What's your right now? Like, what's your whole setup?
So right now I shoot on an A7S3 video wise. Backup is a A7R3.
It's my dynamic duo. I mean, at this point, actually, like biggest thing right now is upgrading from that to the S3s because I'm so used to being able to dual threat at events with just one body, and then now carrying like 2 bodies and is a little bit different and throws me off a little bit for some events. But I mean, right now, the A7S3 is just my absolute
Just money.
You
You can't beat it.
can't.
It's
Unless you're an
of course
FX6.
or mine broke. That's how mine got beat. But yeah, the FX6 is
Yours just died.
I don't know what happened. I didn't even give it to anybody. Nobody used it.
No.
I was just like,
It just said
here you go.
Done.
I got to turn it on 4 times to get it to work, and it won't even record in turn. I got to hook up the Ninja to it. I'm like, all right, sweetie, I need to buy an FX3 now.
I'm telling you, your wife's gonna leave you, bud.
She told me, she was like, did you break this on purpose? I was like, yes. I broke a $3,500 camera on purpose.
Just so I can get a new one.
She loves me. She somehow loves me. I think she does.
She does.
Hopefully.
Maybe. A little bit.
She's got 2 kids. She's happy. She's happy with me. She's cool. She's all right with it. All right. What's a dream rig? What's the whole? I mean, obviously it's like such a broad statement, but like, secondary, first camera, lenses. Like, what do you want? Like, I know you talk about that 100 to 400 all the time.
To me, it just depends. Like now with me, like again, progressing more in business and being more professional. I really, especially this past weekend, like I've really dove in 5-star down in Florida, really dove into like a actual rigged setup, which like definitely was beneficial. But right now, I think I'm very steady with the, 28 to 70 or like, some 24 to 75, one of those, and then a nice prime lens, like wide, low aperture lens, and then like to get those money shots, whether it's gimbal, B-roll. This morning, like shooting the marathon, like that was that was literally I didn't use telephoto lens. I just
you
used
just
one
started-
prime and just like, yep, just gonna get these
I
certain
saw your
shots.
story and I was like, he's got like the dream rig right now. It's light. He can go everywhere. He doesn't have to carry a bunch of crap with him.
Exactly.
Is that V-mount battery working out for you?
It's great.
It's a money saver.
It's great.
It's how many batteries would you use during that marathon compared to just one V-mount?
Definitely 4.
Yeah.
And then I left. I walked away. I shot for 4.5 hours and used a quarter of a battery.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's nuts.
Yeah, no, definitely an investment that I would definitely, as a word of advice to anybody who shoots long term. I mean, again, like I'm not saying like buy this thing for if you're shooting like one basketball game.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like you're shooting several hours worth of stuff, and again,
If you're
like
at a tournament or something like that,
exactly.
I mean, I feel like I've heard like lacrosse tournaments start at 8. I mean, baseball tournaments for me would start at like 7:30, and then if you were lucky enough, you played at 5 during the summer.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, that's maybe a V mount and a half.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, this is perfect. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like, you spend 180 on a V mount, you get 2 of them, but you don't have to worry about battery for 2 days probably.
Exactly. And I mean, and you're sitting there. I mean, again, like I bought one last week and sent it down to Florida. We were there was there Thursday through Sunday, and I used basically the total of 3/4 of one charged battery over 2.5 days of just.
And it just looks good.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
does. There's a thing with people are like, you don't need to have like this giant rig, but like, it looks cool.
I mean, honestly, people take you more.
They take you more serious.
They take you way more
If
seriously.
I
with
walked in with this camera and said, I'm going to film you a crazy, upstairs is a coffee shop, I'm going to film you a crazy coffee video with that, and I walked in with my rig, they're going to be like, we'll take that guy with the fancy rig.
with the fancy rig.
Because people think they're going to get more than they want. Even though I could maybe film something cool with this.
You
but
could.
Not as cool.
You could. And honestly, it could be the same and depending on what they want. But again, like some people see the big rig and like, I want the big rig.
Yeah, I mean, that's typical.
Yeah.
Females. We're going to edit that part out. So, all right, yeah, gear list. All right, what was your first paid gig? Like your first, like, couple $100 here and there, but like, what was your first paid, like, hey, today I felt like I made serious money, and I've actually, like, the money I invested is, like, paying off.
I mean, I guess I would have to say is when I first started freelancing during COVID, and I went out to California. I mean, not California. It was Arizona, with Mad Dog Lacrosse Club out in the West Coast. They literally, I mean, again, like I was casually, making, a couple bucks. I mean, again, like Cash App, filming workouts.
Parents hitting you up.
Parents me out for something like that. So that wasn't. I mean, again, that was getting me by, but that wasn't really like a big, huge, like, like
It's
come
a weight
out,
lifted
come
off
out,
your
and
shoulders,
yeah.
too.
And so, I mean, again, like that. I think it was like January or Feb. Yeah, I think it was like January of like 2020.
Yeah.
And I fly out to Arizona. And, I'm filming for Mad Dog. And again, like, they take care of my flight. They take care of, like, I stay in this badass, like, Airbnb. And then, like,
I've
again,
seen the
like,
videos on the
exactly.
story. They just paid for this whole house and there's only one person.
There's only one person.
Damn,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. Like that. And then next thing you know, like, they're paying me, like, $1,700 for the weekend.
Yeah.
And that's when I truly knew, based off of my work ethic and what I could produce and like what I could do, that
People are
like
actually taking you seriously.
people were
taking.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I knew that at that point, because again, going into COVID, I didn't have a job, so I was like, all right, like, I mean,
This is my
there's
time.
really
Like, you have to hustle now.
there's really, I mean, again, it's really hard to get a job right
Yeah.
now. I mean, again, everyone, and especially the job that you want, it's like COVID, it's like whatever it is. And
COVID was crazy.
and to that point, like, I was like, all right, like, maybe I could just like freelance. And then at that point, use that freelance to, free agent to other companies and then see how it goes from there. And then luckily, blessed to have like a successful, freelance career during that point from like 2020 to summer of the end of 2021, which was like nonstop, just like shooting. But I mean, it was crazy, and the amount of relationships that I eventually had and made, and then networked, and then where I am now. I mean, it's crazy.
I remember, we closed the shop up, and then when COVID started, I told my wife, I was like, I think we'll be closed for like a month. Like, we'll be good. And she's like, what are you going to do for money? I was like, I have no clue. Like, absolutely no clue. So the next night I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy a new camera.
That's a great start.
Bought a
Great
new
start.
camera, and she's like, why did this happen? And I was like, I'm going to make money off of it. I
Right.
think during COVID, I think I made like $500, and I was off of work for like 2.5 months. And I was like, this is not working. But
Right.
the amount that we put in, like the amount of work that we put in during COVID, like people still, like I was at the gym with Nick, and he was like, do you remember COVID? Like we were up from like 7 a.m. in the summer, and we came up with some of the craziest content, which now the stuff that I make now, I'm like, that's dog water now. You know what I
Right.
mean? But like it was memories. It taught you how to like get up, work.
I mean, yeah. I mean, especially during a time when like no one had no clue on what was going on, like
About anything.
About anything. It's like, how many people can you have in an area? Like how many? Like
What do you mean the gym's outside at 8 o'clock in the morning? It's 90% humidity. outside?
Exactly. What do
about?
you mean? Like, and then at that point, like, I mean, and I was doing anything and everything,
Yeah.
especially like sports wise. I mean, I was either at because at this point you couldn't work out inside.
Dude, I had somebody ask me to live stream. Sounds horrible, but live stream a funeral. Not COVID related, just somebody's grandmother died. And I was like, I don't know how to live stream. They were to pay me $1,000. And I told them, I was like, you have better luck putting your tripod up because nobody could go to the funeral because of COVID. And I was like, I probably should have took the money, but I didn't.
Take it nice.
But it was everybody, dude.
I mean, everybody. I mean, at that point, and then especially in certain situations. I mean, again, I made a couple bucks like from people that needed like some sort of video. Like I worked for Bagel Works out in Timonium, and they were like, hey, like we just need like a 30-second video just to let like people know that like we're still open, but we're just doing carry out orders, like stuff like
when
that.
I saw that, I was like, yeah, he's got business. Like Eric's gonna be good. Like he got Bagel Works. When I saw bagels pop up on IG, I was like, yeah, we're fine.
Yeah,
like, the guys are good.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're making it work.
And
here.
especially at that point, that was me expanding into a different area of video. I mean, and that's what I wanted to do. I mean, at the end of the day, like right now, all I do is shoot a lot of sports. I can't complain about that. But at the same time, like every now and then, like even for work, I'll get handed projects that are a little bit different than just going out and shooting a game.
Comfort zone a little bit.
And at that point, I'm probably more locked in to doing that than showing up to a game because it's just practice. It's
sports are second nature.
Yeah,
like,
it's like muscle memory at that point. But then putting me in this uncomfortable situation where it's not really me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's really like me. It's like, okay, like how am I going to shoot this?
Yeah.
How am I going to shoot
anything that causes us to do research?
Right.
It's
Exactly.
like, all right, this is when we have to do this stuff.
Exactly. I mean, again, and especially with now, with YouTube, you could literally be like, real estate, drone,
FPV,
4K, 240. How do I shoot this?
Something comes up.
And something comes up.
And then you realize that it's a $8,000 drone.
Exactly.
With a Komodo Red. And you're like, yeah, this isn't me.
This isn't me.
How can we do this on the cheap?
Exactly. We can get, all right, how did you shoot the shot? I'm going to shoot the same shot. Quality's a little different.
Yeah. What's some of the stuff you struggle with? Sport, like any just filming wise? It could be like a sport that you, or just, in general, when you show up to any sporting event, like the one thing that you're like, I didn't do this right again.
I mean, in certain situations with me, like the biggest thing has to do with like B-roll.
Yeah.
And introing like what you're trying to do, and especially like getting there and getting the shots that you want, because for a lot of it for me is going into a game, I try to realistically think of the shots that I want to get and then shoot for those first and then let everything else. But then even then, the shots that you want, you don't get, or something happens, and it literally in my head just like throws me off.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, at that point, I'm like, well, this video shot.
I'll make it work. I remember the Spalding game.
Yeah.
You're like, this could be a great video. And then third quarter comes, you're like, yep.
No edit.
It's okay.
Nope, done.
I got pictures.
I got highlights.
Football games, my worst thing is B-roll. I don't think I get enough B-roll. Because then, like, at the end of the year, when I got to make, like, an end recap or something, I don't have enough. It's always the same shot.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, yeah, and especially, like, in certain situations, like, especially for you, and especially even for me, who shoot basically in the same places, you're like, you get a dope shot like
Yeah.
one game,
Yep.
and then you're like, all right,
Everything else is filler at this point.
no, how can I beat that shot? Because
Oh,
you're
every game, yeah.
and then again, like, and especially if you're like home,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't know how much Calvert Hall Stadium drone B-roll.
I can't get any more.
It's
Yeah.
just-
It's hey.
That-
I took it
that
around the
you-
left
that
side
you-
this season. Next year, I'm taking it around the right side.
exactly.
That's
It's
it.
just that's about it.
Until
And-
I get like a jumbotron installed. Until I call somebody, be like, "Yo, give me a jumbotron." When we went to Lipscomb and I saw that jumbotron, I was like, "Let's get one of these." Like, I'll put a live relay on my phone. We could do the replays on there. Let's do it. Come on.
so yeah, no,
50 grand later. You know? No, it's one of those things. My biggest struggle was it seems kind of messed up, but like watching all of the kids show up like with cameras and like everybody's there getting the shots and I'm like, all right, I got to focus on myself. You hit in the locker room and like, you know, when you sit there and you're like, all right, I got to get a shot of a kid like just in full on focus mode, you get like two dog shots. And I'm like, why can't I not get this out of everybody else? Like Harper just stares through you. Daniel Harper will not look into the camera. He just stares through the sensor. And I'm like, I need this every time. And it's always the same shot.
yeah. I mean, it's the same shot, and then like, and yeah, it's just some sort of you're looking for something new or for something like, I don't know, like yeah, but so like again, if there's some videos where like again like even the Calvert Hall recap where something's like, damn, it's basically like the same.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Like
I don't
over,
like it.
over
I can't stand
over
it.
and over again.
Yeah.
It's just like for me, it's like, you know, always switching up. Like, what can I do to make myself different?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
what-
the toughest part because football games, it's kickoff, end of the game. So you're like, how can you change it? And there's
yeah,
nothing to change. Really.
exactly. And then
You
at
just
that
have to
point,
focus and be on your stuff.
that and you just have to be all over the place.
Yeah.
Because like for me, the biggest thing is if you look at like the NFL or Division I colleges, Instagrams or highlight reels, all that, they have a team. So they have
God,
like
yeah.
3 to 4 guys like shooting a
Yeah.
game. And so when you go as a creator, you go and look at those videos, you're like, dang, like I wish I could create something like
I
that.
can get this.
And then you're like, no, you can't.
Because there's 18,000 people on this media team.
Exactly. They're all contributing to this.
I follow one of the dudes who just got a job with LSU's football team. He like worked on an oil rig or something. I'll find his Instagram, and I watch this dude run. He's dripping sweat. I'm fat. This dude's got a six pack. I'm not doing this.
Exactly.
I'm
He's
just gonna-
ripping up and down, and then like same thing for me, even for basketball. Like I won't sit in the same place. I'll
That's my
usually
problem,
go.
too.
I'll usually like I'll start somewhere, and then I'll go in the stands, and then I'll go behind the bench, and then I'll go. So then at that point, when I'm going through, no matter what the highlights are, even if it's like even a kid dribbling up a ball or what, it's like, holy shit! Like it's like this angle, this angle, this angle. It's like, damn, like. What did Eric hire a production team? It's like, nope.
No, I just ran around.
I
the
just
field.
literally just
Ran around the court,
I
like
ran around the
crazy
court, ran around the field,
Yeah.
like
And
literally
just try to find the
and
shot.
just try to
That's
find
all
the
I
shot
wanted
and
was a
just
shot.
stick it all together.
It's not like the best moment when you like sit in your car, and you're like, I sit in my car sometimes after the games and I'm like going through everything, and I think that I got all the shots. Most of the time, forgot to press record. I did that a lot. Did that a lot with the Ninja this year.
Well, my biggest pet peeve is I gotta stop talking during games.
Oh, dude, ruins your audio.
Well, it's not even that. It's I'll go.
Oh, you're
I'll-
mean talking about with the dudes and all that stuff on the side.
like I'll just be walking down and I'll be like talking to someone, and then I'll look over and it's like big play, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
That's-
Jack and Mackley will do that. They will literally stand there on the 20-yard line and talk. And I'm like, how are you guys, like, what are you doing? And then they'll post the pictures of them getting the shot. I'm like, my ADD would have kicked in. I would have been in my car. Like, I would have gone and left if I started talking to somebody.
It's crazy. It's
I thought high school kids are getting
I'll go
three shots
around.
a night.
I'll go around and I'll see like a coach or administrator or someone I know,
Yeah.
and I'll walk in and be like, hey, how's it going? Like, da-da-da, how you been? Da-da-da. Big play touchdown, and I'm like, it's not.
I got to stay away from everybody. I'm
Yeah.
putting AirPods in next time.
I'm
not talking to nobody.
That's part of the reason why I put out AirPods in. I'm not
Yeah.
listening to
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah,
leave me alone.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That does kind of piss me off when I'm like, I see other photographers at games and I'm like, you're kind of here just like every time I see you, you're just hanging out.
Yeah,
you
pretty
know?
much.
And like there's dudes who like don't post anything that I know are at games. I'm like, what are you doing? Like I know you got something there,
I know
you
you
know?
got something.
You got something going
But
on.
You're just there to get that sideline.
What do you think when you see the little like all not the little kids, but when you see like the high school kids show up, knowing like that was you at one point, like you were the kid who showed up with like the Canon Rebel.
Well, here's
You
the
know what I
thing.
mean?
when I showed up, it was just me
At high school.
in high school.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and again, like my best friend will attest to this. Like during COVID, I was like, hey, like I'm gonna go do this camera stuff, and he was like, no, you need to go get a job.
You need to go get a job. I'm not the
and I
camera.
was like, no, I think I could do this. Like,
This is gonna work.
This
for
is
us.
gonna work. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, like you need to go get a
You
job.
went full on wrist it. You're like, I don't need a job.
I was like, I don't need a job.
fine.
I
I'll
was
be
like,
okay.
I'm not a suit guy. I'm not a cubicle.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not gonna sit
not
in the
at all.
corner.
Not at all.
And at that point, I just like, yeah. But at the same time, like when I started, I mean, you know, if anything, I would say that when I started, I just kind of sort of respected and I just went by whatever way that amateur me would go about doing everything. And again, that was just starting off at low level things, and then working my way up.
Getting up to where you need to be.
And the biggest thing, I mean, for me, and probably a lot of people either, you know, could agree with me or disagree with me, but I took on like a lot of free work.
Oh my! You have to do free work.
And I know that that's probably like one of the biggest things in this industry that some kids like want to push, where it's like, you know, you have to pay me, you know, for my labor and like all that. And I totally get that.
Get it.
But especially at the level that you're at and what you're getting asked for and like where you're at is, you know, you could get so much more than just that $150 that technically
100%.
like that you were gonna get anyway. So yeah, I feel like that was one of the biggest things that like opened me up, and I put myself in, not necessarily in front of other people, but really just like put me up there, especially within the lacrosse community, as someone to hire for events. And it's just because like he played lacrosse, he knows it very easily, and he just like comes in and gets the job done no matter like what you ask. Because in certain situations, I mean, you know, I was flying or driving to lacrosse events and meeting like people that I legit like would see on TV and would have literally would bet on my life before that moment. I would never meet.
Like, I only see you in the stands watching you in the.
You know,
stands.
I'm at 5-star in IMG working my first event, and it's like Coach Petramel, Hall of Fame coach at Johns Hopkins.
Yeah.
And he walked past me and he's like, doing a good job. And I'm like,
You're like,
holy shit.
in your mind, you're like, thanks, coach. And then you're like, I cannot believe.
Like,
he'd even noticed me.
He said, at that point, I was just, you know, head down.
Like, all right, don't say anything.
Don't
dumb.
say anything. Don't say anything.
Just keep
dumb.
walking.
Just
that's
keep
it.
walking.
That's
Just
it.
keep walking. Like it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like at that point, how many people I was meeting, and then again, like people like, hey, like, could you send me these photos? Could you send me? I'm like, yeah, gotcha. I'm like, no problem. Just give me by the end of the night. And I mean, it's taken off.
For sure.
I mean, since COVID, and social media is
Sports media is nothing like how it was 2.5 years ago.
no.
Nothing. Like the back to like the free work real quick, like Flicks with Dre, like I feed him what things I can't make. I'm like, hey, here's the price, charge him this amount. Because the dude showed up for me like 3 or 4 times and just was like, yeah, I got you, don't worry about it. Just free.
Right.
And it's just like, I didn't get my first paid gig. All right, so I did 2 weddings for free, and now I charge $4,500. And like it wasn't the point of like, all right, I'm gonna do these 2 for free. I was like, no. I told 2 of my buddies, when you guys get married, let me film your wedding. It's free. Don't worry about it. Just so I can throw it out to other clients.
Right.
I don't do weddings, but like that's the price I'm gonna charge.
Right.
Football games, like it's like, you know, kids will come up to me. I'm like, how much did you? I'll ask them how much you charge. They'll go $500 or $50, and I'm like, bust it down to a free. Go do Gilman. Go do whoever. Go do any single football team that's in the MIAA or WAC or the DC. I call it the WAC league, DC league, whatever. Go film for free. They will be knocking on your door if you give them good content.
Right.
But you got to let them know when the free stops.
Right.
And you got to go charge stupid money.
Exactly.
Not stupid money,
It's
but
not even stupid
money
money,
that
but
makes
it's
you,
just like
you know,
at
worth
one
it.
point you just got to get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And once you get in the foot in your door, you're good. But a lot of people think that getting their foot in the door is like upfront charging. And again, I get that, especially if they're asking for a lot. But in certain cases, it's like, you know, if it's an opportunity, especially when they mean exposure, you got to look at what type of exposure.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing a clinic or something where it's like, all right, it's going to be a bunch of young kids and you're like, I feel like doing it. But it was like, you never know. The amount of parents
Yeah.
and clients that I've met
through events where again, like I've been handed stuff, which is just like, hey, like I work for this, rehab company. I work for this real estate.
Yep.
Like, do you do this? Do you do that?
Of course we do.
And then at that point, you're like, oh, like there's just so much more money out there than just like this rinky, like just the sports stuff.
Yeah.
So like again, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like they find out, like even like I said, finding out, like he did this one for us for free, like did it up, but he produced like great content, and at that point, like that looks good.
It's especially when you're at, nothing against public school, because there's some great public school like teams, no matter what sport. But when you're at the private league level, it's like parents will not think twice about being like, this guy does good videos, he makes good pictures, he can do a good job for me. And it's just like, it's one of them things where you're just like, hey, I know him, he does good for my kid or whatever. It's right there.
Right.
They're like, and they're not expecting the world from you. You know what I
Right.
mean? They just
Right.
want good content.
Right, exactly.
And
And that's one of the biggest things. I mean, like TJ, like this past year, I mean, the
Dude,
amount.
shout out to TJ.
Shout out to TJ.
TJ went from like, not saying he had bad stuff, but just like what he had, and then
TJ
going
went
up.
from he took that next step as in not only am I going to be involved in this, like I'm going to be a professional.
He's invested in it now.
And it's a difference. And what I would say is it has to do with a passion,
Yep.
like going into it, like any other sport. I mean, the amount of hours that you would put being on the football field, being on the soccer field, baseball field,
Yep.
whatever, it's the same thing you got to put into this. So it's like the same time. So it's like late nights that you drove to get shots up is the same time as you driving up to John Carroll
Yep.
for a 7:00 game.
You drove an hour to Annapolis to film a championship
Championship
game,
game,
and then you drove
an
the
hour
next morning. And you're
exactly
like,
an hour.
this is it.
And then the next day you got to go do this. The next day you got to do that, because at the end of the day, I mean, one of the biggest things that I look at is majority of millionaires and successful businessmen at my age
Yeah.
are grinding.
Oh yeah.
They're not like unless you were, come from a family of generational wealth or money, and again, you still are great at what you do, but a lot of businessmen. I
It's the
mean,
mindset you have
Jeff
to have.
Bezos. I forget what he was doing at 27, but
You're
you'd be
sitting in
like,
his garage or
yeah,
doing something,
exactly,
trying to sell books online.
exactly, like
Now he owns the country.
now you, yeah,
No, like if
he's
you
got more
don't-
money than people. Like, yeah, exactly.
It's the thing though. Like if you wake up every morning, like I cut hair as my main job and I do photo on the side. But if you wake up every morning and you're like, man, I have to go to work today. No, like you wake up and like I get to go to work today.
Right.
I get to go pick the clippers up. I get to pick the camera up. If you don't have that mindset just about life in general, you're not going to be anybody.
No.
It's like it's hard to swallow.
you're not
but,
gonna be
like,
happy.
You're not going to be happy. You're not going to be successful. You're not going to be anything that you thought your dreams were in 8th grade. You're like, oh, I'm going to do this and do that. Not if you don't wake up and actually go do it.
Right.
There's too many people that like think that it's going to get handed to them. It don't work like that.
Doesn't.
It never works like that.
It doesn't.
You don't get the starting quarterback job by acting like a third string.
No.
You just don't.
No.
That's how it works. Sorry to burst your bubble, people. That's how it works. What's the dream gig? Like if you could film one game, like
I mean, like I mean, a goal for me would just be like, again, like shooting like one of the top sporting events.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I just love those like big time games or moments.
Yeah.
Like no matter what it is. I mean, again, right now, I would say like shooting, a college football, like a big time college football game, and I mean regular season or postseason. I mean, I'm talking, like Bama, Auburn,
Oh, yeah.
LSU, Bama.
Mine's Ohio State, Michigan.
Ohio State, Michigan, like one of those like games, because at that point, like there's so much storytelling
It's a whole different atmosphere.
that, again, like for a creator,
Yeah.
there's just like so much that you can create from, especially like again when you go shoot the same school or like the same area like all the time, like you just not necessarily get stuck, but like your
Get a little
ideas,
repetitive,
yeah, it gets a little
you know?
repetitive, like what you're doing.
Yeah.
But then you get put in that, like, again, that different atmosphere. And you're like, you walk into a stadium and you like walk into Navy and you're like, all right, cool. I'm going to get like stadium shot from here. We'll get a walk up shot up from here. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go in the locker room. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to get them walking out. And, those sort of things. And then like just the overall atmosphere, again, like this year I went to the Penn State Ohio State game. as a viewer.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you didn't have your camera. You were in the stands.
didn't have my camera.
Got it.
And I was in the stands, and I was like, to be able to like be on the sideline and get that touchdown or get that,
That's like
shot
that's a memory.
with the crowd. I mean, again, like the crowd and everything. It's just like it's an unreal.
You're sitting there. Yeah, you're just like, I've been waiting for this.
And at the same time, you have the best seat in the house. That's part of the reason why I chose this job.
Oh, yeah.
You get a free ticket.
I don't
realistically,
have to pay for any
sporting event.
It's like I'm waiting for I'm waiting for my chance for the Ravens game, but like at the same time if it doesn't happen, it's cool. I'm fine with it, but like I don't think there's anything better than a college football game.
Right.
I don't think there is.
No.
I'm a Ohio State fan. Like last 2 years for me against Michigan's been bad, but I would die to be in that stadium.
Right.
It would be amazing, and then to be on the field and you got your gear with you.
Got your gear with you.
That's it. It's game
and
over.
then you're just filming, and you're like, damn, it's 100.
I don't think I'd be able to
110,000
record
people
anything.
looking at me.
I think I would forget to press record. I think I would just like be
Your
in
hands
awe.
would shake.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's the most unstable footage you've ever seen in your life.
Yep, very.
It would not be good.
Very.
How's 5-star going? What are you? How are you liking that? Everything good?
Yeah, we're doing great.
Real quick, plug a 5-star. Tell them what it's about.
5-star app. It's the world's first sports highlight rating app. You can get it in Google and Apple stores. Basically, it's TikTok and Instagram for sports. We're basically creating a sports platform for athletes and fans. And fans as in, parents, coaches, trainers, schools. Regardless, we're creating a platform that just basically gives athletes another way to post their highlights, engage.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I mean, again, in the future, come out with a gamification aspect, like get kids involved as far as, being able to, shop, get coins, whatever. But yeah, I mean, again, we're just trying to, expand on this aspect of sports social media and how much access to highlights, and no matter what, not necessarily like for recruiting, but just for social.
Yeah.
And in general.
I mean, recruiting is a huge aspect, though, right? I mean, yes or no?
It is, but we're not out. Basically, we're not Huddle saying like this. I mean, Huddle is like a recruiting platform. You put your stuff together, and coaches all have Huddle accounts and stuff like that. But it's the same thing as Instagram or Twitter, where a coach can literally just look you up or be on an explore page and see a one-handed catch that you got versus, Loyola in the Turkey Bowl game. Yeah. And you're like, wow, this kid's pretty good. And then you go through his highlights, you're like, damn, like this kid's pretty good. Yeah. And then at that point, like, then that's where the recruiting would have been. But reach out to the kid. So just the same way as how like TikTok influencers get, brand ambassadors and stuff like that. It's the same way.
Strictly sports. You don't have to deal with none of the other Instagram crap.
Yep, and no comments.
That's the beauty of it.
No comments.
You don't have to deal with no hate. You don't have to deal with anybody, riding the bandwagon. It's just straight up, look at my video.
Look at my video, rate my video, interact, send it to your friends. Yeah. Post it on other pages.
I don't know why we got to get that out there more to the kids. I like it.
It's out there. I mean, like I think it's out there, but like it's a slow build. I mean, again, the biggest thing now. I mean, like Be Real was out for like 2.5. I don't even know, like a year and a half, something like that. And within 3 months, it caught fire, and now you see it on social media, and you see like NFL teams using it and doing this for stuff like that. So I just think, again, like we just launched in April, so
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
exactly.
Gonna be, my prediction is it's going to end up being not the next Huddle, because you can do all like the game, like the full game on Huddle, like from a coach's aspect. But like that to me is like a key tool that every athlete should be using.
That and schools.
And the schools.
I mean, the biggest thing is schools. I mean, again, like now, public to private. I mean, if for your athletic department, I mean, if you really don't have like a person video or even taking pictures, I mean, again, you don't have to have video, but if you have solid photographer at every one of your games, not just some schools that just just the basketball team or like just the football team, that like have someone that it's basically required. I mean, the biggest thing, I mean, every D1 school, D2, D3, they're like, all right, like what do we have to do from a social sports, like for sports social,
because that's recruiting.
Yep.
Like a kid will now not go to a school because it's like, nah, y'all ain't got no social media.
Colorado.
You don't got no media day.
Like Deion Sanders showed up, and did you see the presence that Colorado?
Yes.
is?
Instagram went up like 125,000.
It's over. Like every college should be looking at this, being like, all right, Appalachian State, I love. Ohio State's great. Colorado State's going to be Colorado's going to be on the up. But it's like if you have the means of having a social media presence for your team, you have to take it now. Because if not, it's over. You're going to miss out on it.
Done. You're done.
Where do you want this photography world to take you? Like, how far do you want to be on the NFL field? Do you want to be? You're already in there with the PLL.
My biggest thing is I just want to be happy.
I love that.
And what I mean by that is just no matter what, like I fell in love with this industry, like right after college, and that was because my athletic career was over, and because during majority of my life till 22 years old, it was school, sports, school, sports, school, sports, and when I got into this, I was like, okay, this is a whole thing. Like I'm basically back. I'm back to youth rec league square one.
Like trying to relive the glory days. It was like, this is what I love doing.
Like,
and I love being involved with this type of stuff.
Exactly, and it brought me back to square one. It's like I don't know nothing about this. Yeah. Like I have a natural eye. Like when I first bought my camera, I took a couple shots. People were like, oh no, these are really good.
Yeah.
And with my Canon T7 Rebel with an f4, in a gym, with terrible lighting, and my dad's like, yeah, these are looking good. Yeah. And I go back and I'm like, these were horrible. These are trash.
You're like, no, it's the lighting in the gym. It's horrible. Meanwhile, it's bright as can be. You're like, man, I need a camera.
Wow. Yeah. I was shooting on auto.
Oh yeah. Dude, so ready? I went to Patterson Mill High School, and there was a guy there, Mitch. I can't remember his Leibovich. Leibovich. And he had a Nikon. I don't know any of the Nikon cameras, but it was a professional, it was good. And he had like a 400 millimeter or something like that. And here I am thinking like, 10th grade me, my backstory is horrible. It's not good. 10th grade me, I'm a punk. And I'm like, this old man, he don't know nothing. Like I got the T3i. Like that's how far back it went. And I got like an 18 to 55 or 18 to 135, f4.5 to 5.6. I'm like, he's trash. I go home and I'm like I'm editing the pictures, and I'm like, yeah, these are good. Like, this is cool. And then he posts his pictures on his website, and I'm like, I don't have a website. Like, where do I get a website from? And I look at his pictures, and I'm like, dog, what's going on? So I'm like, all right, we'll figure it out. Next home game.
Exactly.
I'll figure it out.
It was the same thing for me. Like, my senior year, I took, like, for my senior year classes, like I just had to take an internship, and what I did was I just did it at a private school, and I just ran the social media and all the photography for the high school. And like I went to it was in the spring, so it was basically like just across. And this was not, again, I didn't touch video, it was just photo. And like I'm out there and I'm just like click 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 click.
This is enough.
Click 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 click. I go back and I edit. And I'm like, yo, these pictures are fire, man. Like, like I'm absolutely killing it,
bro,
killing it. And then like I'll go on Instagram and then I'll see like Peter McKinnon, like
you're just like
with a
just right your feelings heart right.
Yeah,
in the toilet.
just 1DX, and I'm like, okay, I'm not that good.
We had a 4:00 football game for varsity one day. I don't know why. All right, and this is how out of touch I was with settings. This is how bad it was. 4:00, dude. It's sun. You got sunlight. You got sunlight till 7. ISO 64,000, shutter speed 1/64,000, and I'm still sitting there. I sat right next to Mitch, and I was like, Mitch, why are my photos all grainy? And he was like, why are you shooting at ISO 6400? I'm sorry, 6400. And he was like, put it on 100. Stop. Like I thought my camera was broken. I knew nothing, absolutely nothing. YouTube saved my life. Peter McKinnon, thank you.
YouTube.
Shout out to Peter and Mitch.
I have a degree in YouTube University.
That's why you? Kids ask me.
Why you?
How do you do this?
Why you?
YouTube. Do you know how I learned how to cut hair? Swear to God, YouTube. Chris Bazio on YouTube, Tomb45. Thank you very much. I didn't go to barber school. I learned off YouTube. All my camera stuff, YouTube.
Yep.
And the kids ask me questions, and I'm like, I'm going to give you a YouTube-ass answer. and it's a 5-minute video you can watch on YouTube.
Yo, how did you do this?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Everything YouTube.
Yeah, everything.
How do I pair? I was talking to Jack. He just got a Ninja, and he was like, "How can I get this to record?" And I'm like, "He's got an A7 III," and I'm like, "I don't know anything about this." YouTube. And I just sent him the video. It was like 1:00 in the morning. I was like, "Get it to work." He's like, "Bro, I'm too tired. I'm going to
Or
bed."
it's that, or like one of my buddies was like, "Yo, like Premiere's like, yo, my Premiere audio's not working. Like this is happening." I was like, YouTube.
Yeah. Clear the cache. Premiere Pro. Crashes again, clear the cache. It didn't work, take it off your computer for a week. Don't ever open it back up. For a week, just close it. Uninstall, delete all your files.
I think
all the LUTs, everything.
Now we're talking about Premiere. If there's anything that we're gonna address, is you're like mid-edit.
Premiere, autosave, crash.
You're mid-edit.
Yeah.
And you're like dialed in.
Mm-hmm. Everything's going good.
You literally hit the one clip to load, and then the spinning wheel of death.
He is bringing up heartbreak right now. Absolute heart. He's not coming back on the podcast.
You're absolutely just done.
Yeah.
I've had Adobe crash on me to the point where I've given up.
You know, there's a glitch around that, though, right?
You've told me.
Yeah.
I have to YouTube that.
I still do it. I still don't remember it by heart. I had it on a post-it note, and then my son, Vincenzo, hops on my lap. And you know what he's doing? Ripping it up. I'm like, all right, back to YouTube. No, I don't understand how Premiere, like Adobe is the lead, to me, like the leading editor for everything. Illustrator, all of it. It's great.
Don't sleep on DaVinci. That's what I heard.
I can't use DaVinci because I'm so embedded in Premiere now.
I know. But
like I got the, what's the one that Apple made? Final Cut.
You bought Final
Cut? No. I'm not paying $400 for Final Cut. Okay. I got like the free 90-day thing. And my buddy Dan uses it, and he loves it. And I'm like, I don't know how you use this. Like, I just physically don't understand. And then, like, I felt like I was cheating on Premiere. And I went back to Premiere, crash. I will say I haven't had an issue, knock on wood, on the new M1 laptop. Like, I haven't had a problem on the MacBook Pro. Now that I say that, everything's going to get deleted.
You're going to text me tomorrow and be like, yo, I was really doing this edit, and Premiere crash. So I'm going to go check out
I got to tell you, I have
DaVinci.
not filmed anything big since the Turkey Bowl dub. And it's been great. It's been awesome. I did some stuff with Nick at the gym, but I'm like, having a few weeks off is amazing.
My boss Brett texted me today, and he was like, "Oh, how's the marathon going this morning?" I was like, "It's great." He was like, "Oh, so like, what's more fun, like a marathon or soccer?" And I was like, "Marathon."
Stress level gone.
Dude,
you don't have to worry about it.
He literally was like, that MIA soccer championship really did something to you. And I was like, Brett.
When I texted you, or when you texted me, I was like, he had to get this.
No, I called you. It was mid phone. I was like, yo, and you were like, I got the goal. And I was like, thank you.
There's either two text messages that I'm waiting from you on at game day is, did you get that? Or can I get that?
Can I get that?
It's one of them two. It's never like, hey, how's your game going? Is your knee okay? Like, no, it's not. It's horrible.
It's horrible.
But I got the shot.
I'm gonna get the lacrosse this year. I'm gonna get the McDavid knee pads.
I got them in my bag.
Oh,
I can't tell you how many kids make fun of me. I showed up to practice one time.
I think you just gotta buy both white and black ones, and then you just gotta freak them.
Nah, bro, I went red. It's bright red. I bought the volleyball version too with the hex pads.
Oh,
bro, you want to talk about somebody that just looks like, man, you look stupid. Like, I'm top heavy, man. Like, and then you put knee pads on a top heavy dude. Like, you know that when you see that on a sideline, you immediately know, like, that boy, he needs help with his knees. He needs to lose some weight. Like, because this hurts.
I've seen some youngins out there with the knee pads.
That's because they're doing it. They're smart. And I'm the idiot who bought them and don't use them because I'm afraid I'm going to get made fun of by one of you guys.
My knees have been getting torn up lately.
Turf's the worst. I think turf absolutely is the worst. I'll say this. When we went to Pilates and played on, I don't know what field it was, Pilates grass field was horrible. Because I had like a rock embedded in my kneecap for hours. And what was the other bad one? Yo, McDonough, you could chip off McDonough's football field. I was soft.
It's also...
Because the water, like, it's got to run off and all that. But, like, you know what I'm talking about?
But literally, like, you'll sit and literally be like, how come when he's running like
I thought it was
Over a hill.
I thought it was okay. So that's why. I literally thought that like my sensor was tilted.
No, it's like no. The field is just. It literally starts like level, lump.
Yeah, that's the water runoff. But I didn't know it was that bad. Okay, good. My camera's not broken.
No.
Sweetie, you're lucky. I don't have to buy another camera.
Yeah, R.I.P.
It's not a
R.I.P. Josh's bank account.
what bank account?
That is true. That is true.
It's all gone.
It's all
It's
gone.
all gone.
It's all gone.
It's gone.
Just got Best Buy credit.
Dude, I got so many points. We're going to Mar to buy a TV for my bedroom.
Of course.
The wife's been like, we need a TV. And I was like, all right, how big of a TV can we fit on this wall? I'm trying to fit a 75 on this little bedroom wall. And she's like, I was thinking more lines of like 40. And I'm like, this is boring. This is going to suck. And then I looked
Bigger,
at it and I
better.
was like, no, I'm good, man. I got the credit. It's all good.
Got the credit.
It's great.
It's all about the credit.
Kids, get your credit cards now. Build your credit. But make sure you pay everything off.
And if you can pay it off in the first month, pay it off in the first month.
Nah, man, B&H. I'm plugging B&H right now. 12 months, 0% financing, 30% interest if you don't pay it off, though. I'm just saying.
Exactly. So pay it off.
I pay it off within 12 months sometimes.
Don't be like Josh.
Don't be like Josh. Don't buy. Here's the thing, because I remember we had that conversation one time where it was like, I said I was going to buy something. You were like, you don't need that. And I went home and I was like, I don't need this. But I bought it. But then at the same time, I'm like I bought the what is it, 14 to 24 millimeter Sigma.
Mm-hmm.
I never use it, ever. You want it? I'll sell it to you.
No.
No,
Because you want me
but
to tell you the reason
I never
why?
use it because you won't use it.
No, because I need to get rid of shit.
Yeah,
I literally, when I pack for events, I literally
Yeah.
tell my dad I feel like I'm packing for war.
I've only packed for one thing, and that's when I realized I was like, I have too much.
I actually think I have more gear in my backpack than military people do in theirs.
The Pelican fit.
Plus the backpack.
It's like we got dudes shipping off to war with like M4s.
I'm
And
literally
like, nah, dude. I have 18,000 batteries in this box.
I got batteries, I got cords, I got
I can make an IED. What's inside of this box right now?
I got batteries for a camera that I didn't even bring. But if someone if someone brought that camera and needed an extra battery,
But you
like,
forgot your SD card, because that's me.
well the other
multiple
day,
SD
well the other
cards.
day, what
I
happened?
forgot.
I forgot my memory card, like slot holder. And it was just right on my desk, and this kid
What, for your laptop?
for like just my memory card case.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, and this
Yep.
kid was like, "Oh, like, is there any chance you have an extra
SD card.
SD card?" And
Yeah,
I was
gotcha.
like, "Yeah, I got."
Never mind.
Never mind. I actually left it.
Quickly check your camera.
And the
make sure
thing
you
is,
have one in there.
it was one of those situations where I was like, "I'm not lying to you, kid. Like, I usually
yeah.
have this thing with me, and legit, like, I looked at it on my desk,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, I don't need
When
it."
you went into my box for the first time at Turkey Bowl, I was like, for once in my life, everything is in that box. Like, if Eric can't find something in that gigantic box, I have an issue. Like, this is my problem now. So that is a Christmas, like, every morning you should open that thing up. I'm like, oh,
You can open up that box and just be like, "All right,
everything's in there.
okay, what do I
Except
need?"
for the gimbal.
Except for the gimbal.
I just don't use it.
Here you go.
I'm selling a gimbal, by the way.
You're selling a gimbal? Which gimbal is it?
Well, I gotta make sure I have enough for the new one.
So you're buying a new gimbal?
I'm gonna buy the RS3 or whatever
So
it
what
is.
do you have now?
The RS2.
How much are you selling the gimbal?
I don't know. I gotta check eBay. I mean, I'll sell to you a good price. You know. What do you have?
I have an S, but it's ass.
I don't see. Here's my problem. I don't. What I'm still trying to figure out. I don't know if it's worth me selling, buying an RS3, which I probably won't use ever. But like, what's updated with it?
With the RS3?
Yeah.
I have no clue. It's the only reason why I'm getting a new gimbal is because realistically, like I've balanced it 16 times, and it like I'll run the test and
I
it'll
got
be
the
like
same problem.
excellent, and then I'll go out and it'll go like
Starts tilting.
tilt.
Mine does the same thing.
So I was like, I give up.
Maybe we just shouldn't sell our gimbals. I think it's our problem.
No, it's not.
You're like, no, I'm selling
No,
this
because literally the app is telling me that I balanced this thing accurate.
Yeah.
So why when I go out, it's
I
not
see
accurate?
dudes putting counterweights on their cameras and there's nothing on there. I'm
First
like, what
off,
are you doing?
I see dudes putting FX6 with telephoto lenses and more on gimbals, and it's like balanced. Meanwhile,
But that's got to make me think like there's so much more in post. You know what I mean? Like stabilizing and cropping and all that. Like, not every shot that you got with an FX6 has to be. It can't be perfect
no,
on the gimbal.
no, but it's. I mean, yeah, but yeah, true. But like, I just don't get how. Like I said, like I'll literally be 3 seconds away from throwing the gimbal across the room.
Jack
'Cause,
was
like,
1 second away from throwing it before. Dude, I swear, he's just holding it. He's just like, I don't know how Eric made this move. Like, I was like, just walk with it. He was like, no, it's stuck. And I was like, Jack, I'll be honest with you, I got no clue either, bro. I got no clue.
Exactly.
I was like, maybe Eric should buy the new gimbal.
It's just ridiculous. It literally, and it takes like gets jammed, and then like again, it's like
I hate when you think that you got it right, and then like you can just slowly see it, just kind of like
that.
mine will tilt.
Or it's like, all right, you're inside and you're getting some dope ass gimbal shots, and then you go outside and you're like, fuck, I need to put an ND filter on, and you put the ND filter on, and then you turn it off, and it goes right over.
And the worst part is like there should be like an auto calibration thing. You know what I mean? Like that I don't have to sit
You
down.
just don't understand how much shit weighs until you're like, you're telling me this little piece of glass throws off this entire.
And that's why I tell my wife I need an FX6 in body NDs. That's why. I don't need it though.
You don't need it.
I don't need it. I ended up doing the whole.
You don't need it.
I don't need.
I don't need it.
No. I ended up doing the whole price list of how much, like after buying the camera, how much more stuff I would have to buy, and you're what $6,500 deep in the camera. It's another like $35,000 to $4,000 and a bunch of crap.
And the storage files are
Well, I use the Ninja,
huge.
so it's like I'm used to like I film a football game. And it's like 650 gigabytes.
what?
Yeah, because the Ninja films in 422 10-bit ProRes RAW, but I don't use RAW. But if I did film in ProRes RAW on a 2 terabyte, I would only have 45 minutes worth of footage that I could film. But if I just film in ProRes, it's just 3 hours and 21 minutes. And I've never used RAW before. I don't really see the difference. You're still shocked on the gigabyte storage.
I'm still shocked on the gigabyte storage.
Dude, my camera, my computer is like, I don't know how it hasn't blown up yet. I'm waiting for the day where like steam to come out of my computer. It's going to happen.
Well, of course.
I'm going to laugh. Because like I deserve
And then
this.
go buy another computer.
Yeah, I'm going to go buy that M1. I'm going to go buy that new iMac. What's some of the, like, is there like a photographer that you look up to or like just kind of pay attention to on Instagram?
I mean, again, when I first started, like Peter McKinnon was probably my biggest role model. And then it went to like his friend Maddie.
Yeah, love Maddie.
Mark Bone, Danny Gervantes. I mean, again, a lot of what I look at is the storytellers, the content creators. I mean, again, like for me, that's what I get a lot of credit for. Like when it comes down to the stuff that I make. I mean, you know, the highlights and the edits and stuff is like super easy, and it's just like cool because you're going to a song. But then when you go to an event and you're asked to do like a recap, and especially from a commercial or professional like start stop, it's like, all right, like how can I tell a story about this event, whether if it's 5-star in Florida, it's this morning with the Naptown Run.
Yep.
It's like, you know, what can I do to just make it look cool and different?
Peter, I feel like is the one to like. To me, Peter's that guy to like. He influenced me. Like, all right, you have to get better at storytelling. After watching like his intros to his vlogs and all that.
It's that, and it's just the why, and it's why like why you want to do things and how you want to shape them, and like why do you do this, and then like I feel like his videos and a lot of the big time content creators that especially that I look at it just goes all about the passion.
Yeah.
And no matter what, because now it's even to the point where they were producing content weekly, and now it's like producing content weekly. It's like it's impossible now because at first
you get to go around a lot more sporting events. Like during football, I'm only at Calvert Hall,
right,
but you get to literally just take off and pick a game.
Which in that perspective is very nice to be able to go around and do multiple things, but at the same time, like there's some times where it's like for football, especially during football season, basketball season, like lacrosse season, where it's like just being content, like with certain things, like just like again, like going off to go shoot volleyball when like, you know, Calvert Hall is playing such and such or such somebody. Yeah. It's just like, dag, like I got
you coming today? Like, I'm here.
I gotta go to volleyball.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I gotta go to ice hockey.
I tried that once. I'm doing ice hockey in January. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I've never done that before.
Yeah, just pan.
That's on the 50-yard line.
Do not
lacrosse
think.
games
Do
again.
not think that you're getting the puck going in the goal.
I don't see it happening.
And like unless he's literally like carrying it and then just slowly
Scooping it in.
scoops it in.
Yeah.
You're not. Like every single time it's just a fast pan.
Yeah, that's impossible for me.
But hockey's a lot of fun. It's a lot of action.
Do they hit hard? Like the kids hitting?
Yes.
All right. That's all.
Are you gonna go to Cover Hall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm filming.
definitely.
That's like
definitely.
I'm coming here for
You
this.
definitely gotta go to Cover
I
Hall.
want the boards smashed. I want all that stuff.
Yeah. No. Definitely. Boys are buzzing there.
Are you you happy with where you're at right now?
Yeah.
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 Like, what do you want to like mostly improve on? It could be anything. It could just be life in general, your work, whatever. It could be like, I want to get better at taking photos this year or something like that. Not saying you're not good.
I think what I really want to do is take the next step in like storytelling and like I want to create more short form film.
Yeah.
Sort of
like
stuff.
10 minutes or like a little bit longer?
Not even like just like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like
Gotcha.
it could be anything. It could be like stuff for like 5-star for a commercial.
Yeah.
You know, stuff. I just literally the one thing during COVID, and I feel like because I was inexperienced, which one of the things that I felt like made fun was like YouTube University and like challenging myself on different occasions because I wasn't experienced in certain things. And it's like, all right, like I'm going out to shoot this. Like, how am I going to do it?
Yep.
And then I go in and then I spend like hours trying to compile it together. And then you see it at the end and then you send it to the client. And they're like, holy shit. Like, this was not even what I was expecting. Like
they're happy with this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, like, again, especially like looking at my mentors, it's just like, I think the next step for me is being able to like shoot short form and understand everything about when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
So lighting, audio.
That's my thing because, like, again, football, you show up, you film coach's speech, the locker room, the game. And you're like, there's got to be something else I can put into this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But you don't, like, I just don't know where.
Right.
We're going to have to brainstorm on this.
Yeah.
We're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's like, it's that, or it's, I mean, especially for me, it's like there's short, minor details that you don't think about that when you produce something and you're like, all right, I'm going to put this light here instead of here.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you literally can see like or I'm going to change like the angle on the shot, like for an interview or something. Like I'm going to make it more tight here. Or I'm going to do 2 angle. And it's just like how like, again, looking at it, it's like looking at what I made before and looking what I make in the future. Like, is there a difference? Like, you don't want to see that consistency.
You ever go back on your Instagram and look at the stuff that you made?
All the time.
I did that last
on the
season
toilet.
with this stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's the only time
It's literally, that's the only time.
I remember, so I started out with John Carroll, and I remember filming those games, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. And then, like, I put some of the dumbest transitions in that ever. It was horrible. And then I'll go home and watch it now, and I'm like, what were you thinking? Kids like this for some reason.
Yeah,
that was 2 years ago. 3 years
exactly.
ago.
And there's some points where like I'll create a video, and a lot of it has to do with the ability to like, going from 1080 120. Remember when I told you like last year we'd be at games and you'd be like this and that. I'm like, yep, like I can go ahead and cut this up real quick. I got 1080 120 over here, and just smooth. Yeah. And then I get to now I'm with 4K 120, and then
You're like, oh my God,
load
proxies,
load
everything,
load. Yeah, the buffer bar.
When you start filming in 4K 120, it finally makes you realize that like this is what higher paying clients want.
Right.
And that's when you're like, all right, I have to go buy more stuff now.
Exactly.
And it's not, that's the stuff that I'm like, I don't want to buy this.
That's why you don't. That's why you don't see big baller photographers.
No,
because you have to buy a $12,000 lens.
The dude that I follow who only films weddings, he's like, yeah, he lives in like this little house, like nice house in like San Antonio. He bought a $90,000 Sprinter van, a full-on Mercedes. He's like, I have to have something this big to take all my crap to a wedding shoot. Charges $20,000 for a wedding. But still, I'm like, this is,
it's ridiculous.
It's got to pay off sometime, though, right?
Like one of my buddies bought like 72 terabytes of storage, and it's just like,
who? Who does he work for?
Like he works like all around.
Oh, so he's doing everything.
He's doing like everything.
He's full time.
He's full.
I was hoping it wasn't like somebody like
no, it was no one that we know,
He's
but
digging
like
in deep.
I mean that but like literally like I saw it, and I was just like, that's like 15-20 grand in storage.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
that's
I
what I'm
don't-
saying. Like
this
I
is
showed my
insane.
dad. It's like This is you see that those two big boxes right there.
Yeah.
That's like 15 grand in storage. That's just a store.
It's nuts.
It's just a store, and that's not even
I sent
a backup.
I sent the wedding video I just filmed. I filmed the wedding in October. I finished it up end of this month or beginning of this month, and the end result was like 4 gigabytes. Like that's the whole video. Emailed it over to them. Thank God they were like, yeah, this is great. They didn't ask me to fix anything. Dream client, right? Like nobody asked you to fix anything. And then I told them, I was like, can you save this video so I can take it off of my hard drive? And they were like, yeah, no problem. And the husband was a gamer, so he was cool with it. He was like, I understand completely. But like, I can't fathom buying 72 terabytes worth of storage. Like that's when you know, like you've hit the limit. Like if that ever happens to me, I better be working full-time video work.
For sure.
You can't not be doing half-time or, part-time.
Yeah. No, he's a full-time. He's ridiculous.
That's
but
crazy.
like if you see his setups for like what he does for work, you'll be like, all right, it's like a 3-camera setup, and then it's like interviews.
And it's like 20 grand per camera.
And he's and again, like going back to your case, like you think you have everything, like he has everything.
No, he's got it all.
We went to we worked the PLL training camp last year, and everything that I was like, does somebody have? Yeah, I got that. Just checked it. I was like, and then literally we were marking because we had so many memory cards.
Oh God.
That so we were like, crap, like everyone has the same memory card. Like, can someone label?
Yeah.
And then we were like, so you want to have a black Sharpie? And then we were like, no.
Everybody's
And then
putting
no,
the numbers
right?
on it.
And then so no one had a black Sharpie.
Just
So then
stick
we
it
were
in
like,
everybody's camera and
and
just
so then
open
we
it
were
up.
like, does anybody have a gray Sharpie? And then Greg comes walking in the door. He's like, I got a gray Sharpie. What don't you have?
That's great.
Like
You need somebody like that. He's always prepared.
it's kind of like me right now and you. Like
Yeah.
we'll go to games and Jack and Mackie will be like, hey, I need an extra battery, and
Just go get it.
just go get it.
Just go get it.
I need a monitor.
I'm trying to figure out how to do a mobile charging station.
Sure.
I'm gonna plug it into a stadium.
But
and
it's,
just leave
no,
it.
enough. No.
You know, I gotta
buy a
start
V
chaining-
mount.
You know, you gotta start chaining.
Buy a
buy a
V-
V mount.
yeah.
Buy a V mount. You know, you gotta start chaining your stuff up at games now, right?
Yeah, because shit gets stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, whoever stole the Dre and I'm looking at every single camera, Dre and Mackley stuff, you got issues. You a POS for sure. Like something's wrong with you. I'm gonna find out who it was.
Yeah, I wish someone would come and steal my stuff.
I don't understand. Like how. I just do not understand how you think, like, yo, I'm going to go to the Turkey Bowl and take some mad, crazy photos, and I'm going to steal your stuff at the same time. Like, that's wrong. That's what's wrong with everything.
I'm just glad I didn't catch him.
I'm just glad I'm glad none of my stuff got taken, but I'm also glad, like, we didn't find them.
Yeah, because I would have whooped.
But, oh, you like taking care. Here, give me my lens back real quick. Bop! Smack you right over the head with it.
Security.
You're done. That's it. You're done. You're not making
And
imagine dealing with
Fox
you pissed off with that?
Fox 45 News.
So they came here today for looking for a win, but they ended up coming here. Somebody got beat up.
With a whooping.
Oh man, Turkey Bowl was great though. It was good getting a win.
It was stressful.
Stressful. I mean, 2 years back to back having great games. You know, like
I don't know if last year was a.
it wasn't. I mean, look, if
was
you're
a
looking at
great
the viewership, it was a great game. For me, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, yep, all right, we're gonna chalk this one up.
Yeah, so for story time, we have for our digital marketing for work. Like every week we have a meeting that shows like our top ads. So there's a couple of videos that
I saw.
that I've given, and our digital ads guys. Yeah, and again like. Our number one video is this one from last year from Thanksgiving. And I'm just like, I'm literally like, hey, David, like, we have so many other plays.
We could go so many other directions with
There's
this.
so many
Please
plays
stop.
that
Yeah.
we could upload and use as a new ad. And he goes, no, but this is a banger. And I'm like,
No, it's not. Get rid of it. Burn it.
it was a great
Trash
play. It was a great play.
a great play.
Well, first off, whoever the corner was last year,
I don't remember.
it was 21.
I don't remember.
But the kid,
I,
it was one of those situations that as a filmer, you're like, oh no, you got beat.
yeah.
And then-
I'm not saying nothing.
I'm not saying nothing.
I'm not saying a thing.
thing. He just got up, and I was just like,
That was one of them things where like it's typical, like it's high school story written football.
yes.
And and you're like, that happened, and then this year you get stuffed on a 4th and 3 or a 4th and 4 run to the right.
When we gave them the ball with a minute 20, I was like, they were like, oh yeah, we won, and I was like, bro, this
We
is
still
turkey
got
ball.
time.
I was
Yeah,
like, we still got time. There's
Yeah.
2 situations with 2 minutes left. You should be scared. with Tom Brady with the ball.
And a turkey bowl.
And the turkey
And the
ball.
turkey bowl. Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
anything could happen.
Well, like that was my second, or the first loss was my first turkey bowl, and like I said, I didn't go to Calvert Hall, so like not knowing, like I knew that the rivalry was there,
Right.
But then when you look on the other side of the field and you see blue and yellow, and you immediately know, like as soon as kickoff, you're like, there are people in that stand, and same thing on this side, that this game means so much to them.
Yes.
Like this is the game.
This is
for
the
you
game.
For you to show everybody what you got.
Because I mean, again, it's one of the.
Not even from a player perspective, but from us.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what
I mean,
you gotta
for
put the best product
for
out.
me, I never played football at Calvert Hall, but
I got cut JV year at Pattersonville. Just gonna throw that out there.
I got asked to play, but
I'm surprised you didn't. I'm surprised a lot of these the lacrosse kids who are like so physical don't also play. But I guess it's injury.
well, that's just because like at Calvert Hall, they just don't want you to
they
get
just,
hurt.
I got you. They just play that
It's
sport.
just
You're
like
stuck
play
with
that
it.
sport. It's just like it is what it is.
I
But
see
like
the basketball
football,
kids,
I mean,
I'm
like,
yo, go
I
play
mean,
wide
we
receiver.
went. I mean, my freshman year, I mean, we had Adrian Amos, starting safety for Packers, and we had Danielle Burrow. Like we had all these guys, and then like for me, I mean, again, and this was when it was at the Raven Stadium. Like it was, the game. I mean, again, the game starts. I mean, if anyone doesn't notice, I mean, the game starts at 10:00 in the morning. Like I don't know, like what
and
mindset.
you got kids showing up at 5:30, 6 a.m.
Exactly.
to the school.
To the schools. And it's like, normally you're for a high school kid, you're playing at 12, 1, 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And you're just like, nah, I gotta get up and like be locked in at 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's the game where, I mean, it's not even like the schedule was for me 4:30 wake up, 5 o'clock in the car, at school by 5:30, and then you just see kids walk in at 6 a.m. and they're like, no, this is a 7 o'clock game right now.
Right.
Like mindset wise.
Right.
And like that's like kind of the thing that, like, if you took that mindset every single day to everything that you do, imagine how amazing your days would go.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Mental health overall. And again, not to dwell on this, but it's definitely like really important overall. I mean, just no matter what. I mean, again, like sports, job, life, regardless. I mean, especially for me, I mean, I've had shitty weeks where, mentally, like,
100%.
you're just like not having a good
Like, all
week.
right, I'm done.
And it affects everything else.
Yeah.
Like, you can't work out.
Yep.
You don't want to hang out. You don't want to do stuffing. You don't want to edit.
You just want to sit there.
You just want to sit there.
Like I need my time.
I need 5 minutes of space.
There was a saying. One of the old dudes came into the shop and told me. He said, "There's 3 people you have to impress in life, and it's your 8-year-old self. And when you talk to 8-year-old self, you have to let him know. He's gonna ask you, hey, are you my hero? You're the person that you like dreamed of becoming. 18-year-old self is like myself. I'm thinking to myself like, all right, at 18, I cleaned my act up. Like now I'm getting better. And then 80-year-old self was like, he told me, he was like, it doesn't matter who remembered you. It matters who you remembered and the memories that you have. So like he told me I had to clear my mental health up at like 65. I retired and I realized I wasted so much time. And I was like, damn, dude, you kind of putting a whole burden on this whole like hustle thing.
Exactly.
And then he's like, it's not worth it. And I'm like, you can't tell me it's not worth it, bro.
It's not worth it.
You can't tell me it's not.
The
Like, 'cause
grind.
I got a wife and 2 kids at home, a baby on the way, and I'm like, I have to do this.
Yeah, no.
If you don't do it, then you're gonna get, nothing.
Nothing.
You're not gonna get anything in return.
No.
That's just how it goes. What are you gonna do? What else we got? Here's a good one. What's like the number one? We'll stick on this. Yeah. What's the number one motivator? Like what drives you to keep doing what you're doing? Picking up the camera, hustling, going to wherever you got to go.
Money. It's like, no.
It's not worth it. Money.
I mean, for me, it's honestly, it's just, it's taking care of. I mean, it's the relationships.
Yeah.
It's the situations. I mean, prime example. Going back to the Turkey Bowl. I'm on Loyola's side and I'm recording, and like I told you, like one of the kids was like, "Hey, Eric, like, love you, but you work for Calvert Hall." And I'm like, I don't work for Calvert Hall.
I'm here
but
for 5-star.
I'm here for 5-star, but like at the same time, like kids, no matter what, and again, it is what it is. It's a high school rivalry. Kids are kids will be kids.
100%.
But the fact, like for me, that I show up and people get pumped, like
Yeah.
that I'm there,
Yeah.
and like, and the expectation. I mean, the expectation is so high for me at that point because it's like, you know, again, I shoot photo, I shoot video, so I'm getting blown up. You know, constantly. It's like, hey, did you get my goal? Like, hey, did you get the picture?
5 minutes after a game.
Exactly.
You got the flicks.
You got the flicks, and
your boy, my guy, Donnie Lewis. Donnie Lewis. No matter what.
You got the pics.
You got pics, bro.
You got pics.
Yo, drop the link when you get a chance, bro. Donnie, I'm not even home yet.
I almost went off. I almost went off on a kid yesterday in Pennsylvania.
What? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, again, I was shooting my dad's team, and he walks over, and he's like, hey, you were taking pics? And I was like, nah, I was just taking video just for one team. So he's like, oh, yeah, so you got video of me? And I'm like, who are you?
Dude, you're 2 for 8 from the line.
It's not even like I'm in bumfuck Pennsylvania, and literally, like, you know, you're like, where's my vids?
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm sorry, are you Bronny James?
Did you contact me? You know?
I mean, like, again, there's only like a couple high school kids that could walk up to me and be like,
yeah, there's a limit. Like Donnie doing that is him literally being Donnie. Like he just likes to mess with me.
Yeah.
And I love it because like that's just a relationship. I worked with Roman Hemby when he was at John Carroll, and like I remember filming his commitment video, and I'm like, this is a memory with a student athlete that, like, you know, I won't forget. Like, this was awesome. But then when you have the punk kid who just expects the world from some dude that he's never met before, get out of here. Like, be humble about it for a little bit, man. Like, don't hop on it like that. Like, relax.
If anything, guys, give us like 3 hours.
Give him 3 hours. Give me a week. Do not. I'm not doing that. Absolutely not.
I mean, like, I gotta get home.
I gotta get home.
I gotta upload
everything.
I gotta dump.
Yeah.
And then I gotta sort.
Dump photos, not.
Yeah. Well, no, it depends. I mean, shoot, it could be a long day.
How far the drive was,
I mean, I could be dumping footage while taking a dump.
I mean, hey, the drive home from Pilates is not fun.
Hey. And so, like, I mean, again, there's so many things that you got to do, and I feel like it's just funny to me because, like I said, like we both said, we'll shoot a game, we'll get in the car, and then we'll get home, and the kid's like, hey, like, you got my goal, you got my touchdown. It's like, I don't even know, like,
dude. So Friday night, I get home from Calvert Hall probably around, I don't know, like 10:30, 11, and then Saturday morning I got to be at work at 5:30, and I still stay up, and I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Because I don't upload anything for a couple of days. And it's just part of that thing where I'm like, everyone is expecting you to like dump photos immediately. Yeah. I can't do it. Nope. Like, I'm done with it. I'm out. I'm going to bed.
I'm full time now.
I got time. I got time.
Like, you know? freelance Eric would be like, oh yeah, I'll go home, edit, you know, give you everything. Yeah. 20 minutes.
Dude, I'm gonna send you a photo next time I hop on the computer. My son is literally on my lap, slapping me in the face. That's you want to know why a video gets uploaded on Thursday at Calvert Hall? Because I got a kid smacking me in the face, trying to be Dad Blippy. I want to watch Peppa Pig. No, I'm trying to edit this film here, son. Please give me a second.
You gotta give him the Peppa Pig.
He's getting Peppa Pig. He's getting Blippy.
What about Bluey? Is he getting Bluey?
No, we don't do Bluey in my house.
You don't do Bluey in your house?
I can't deal with the songs. We did Bluey for a little bit. I'm out. I'm done. I'm at the level of teaching ABCs and no, I'm done. Evan back there, he's going to learn a little bit when that baby comes. He's going to be like, all right, what is all of the stuff that I have to let my kid watch? Okay. Every adult
well, if Evan's listening, he's got to do Bluey.
He's got to do Bluey. He's going to do Bluey. Get the Bluey. He's back there. Oh, my God. All right, look, we're wrapping it up. It's been an hour. Eric, thank you for coming, my friend. Thank you very much, sir.
No problem, my G.
We're going to be here again. He'll probably just end up co-hosting with me. We're gonna. You're volunteering.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's it.
I volunteer.
All right. Hey, welcome to. Welcome. What am I doing? Thank you for watching the shot. This was fun. We'll see where this goes. Hopefully, it blows up a little bit and you guys enjoy it.
Next episode.
Who?
House of Dragons.
Next episode. House of Dragons. Who do we get on here next episode? Should we bring TJ? Well, let's get TJ because he's not at like the. He gets like the level of like. Of a bunch of different angles.
Yeah, we can get TJ.
We'll get TJ. TJ hasn't hit like the like ultimate height of BS that he's had to deal with yet, or maybe he has.
I think he's like in the middle right now.
We're gonna find out when he comes next week or next month.
Exactly.
Beautiful. All right. See you guys.